dedication. It is January. It has a feel factor of 5 degrees outside, but I'm genuinely excited to go out for a bike ride, and I'll tell you why. But first, let me give you a little bit of background. I have Raynaud syndrome, which is a really common, like 20% of the world's population apparently. It's a circulatory phenomenon that basically means I look at a picture of a snowman, open a fridge, I don't know, go outside, and my hands almost immediately turn completely white. So like the blood circulation just stops. It starts at the tips of my fingers and it works its way down until my hands are numb. If it's really cold, my toes will also go numb. The biggest problem with Raynaud's isn't that my hands are cold, because we all get cold hands, like that's just par for the course. But the problem is that with Raynaud's, because there's no blood in my fingers, it means I can't do fine motor movement. So that means that changing gear on my bike, braking, all of that kind of stuff is really, really difficult, because I'm basically guessing the amount of force, pressure, movement I need my fingers to do, because I can't actually communicate with them very well, because it turns out that you need blood. You know, good blood flow to move your fingers in the way that you want. In late November last year, I was cycling from my co-working space in the city down to the park and ride where I'd left my car. My hands were so cold that I wanted to cry, like they hurt so much. And I just thought, this cannot go on. But it was also the time of year that I was looking for Christmas presents. And so I thought, if I'm in this much pain, my sister must also be in this much pain, because she cycles to work, a really long commute, several times a week. And she has even worse Raynaud's than I do. So I spent a little bit of time looking on the internet, and I thought I'd give her the greatest gift to people with Raynaud's. I'd buy her a pair of heated cycling gloves, and it's a gift from me, and it'll all be great. I'll be the greatest sister in the world if they turn out to be good. She has used them pretty much every single day since getting them. She now uses them on all of her bike rides and her hikes as well. She loves them so much, and so when I heard that, I was like, ooh, I need to get myself some of these. And so I got in touch with the company and asked if I could try a pair, because they sound pretty mint. And that's why I'm about to go outside in 5 degrees for a bike ride in a very exposed, hilly, moorland, windy, cold place. Are you after warm fingers on bike rides? Come with me. Okay, I just stopped up quite a steep hill to let some cars go past, and oh my god, I've stopped next to a field with the world's shortest Shetland pony. I'm about 6k in, and I've just turned the gloves down to the lowest setting, apart from off, obviously. It's taken me this long to warm up my body, which is obviously then warming up my hands too. And honestly, it would take this to this point in this ride, which I've done so many times before, for there even to be blood flowing back into my hands. My hands would be numb from my house all the way out here. With these gloves, I turned them on full power the second I got on my bike. My hands have not been numb at all. And now I've just finished a couple of hills and I'm on a very slight uphill gravel section, which is just quite warming. So I can just turn them right down until the next downhill section. Okay, let's take this quite steep hill to talk about the gloves so far. So I'm wearing the slim heated gloves. Thanks, Common. And the reason why is because they're really thin. So in my head, I thought, well, that's great because it means I can put them under another thicker layer, because my hands get so cold. So I could always buy, you know, a thicker glove to go over the top of it, a windproof glove, something like that. But actually, what's really paying off right now is the fact that they're super thin. It's perfect, because obviously when my hands are at risk of being really cold, then I turn the heating on and my gloves are heated, so my hands stay warm. And then when I start going up brutal hills, such as this one, and start getting really hot, then I don't have to take my gloves off, which I would do ordinarily, because they're thin enough to let some air through and cool my hands down. I don't know how Vulcan have done it, but thus far, and this is coming from a Raynaud sufferer in 5 degrees in January in Britain, it seems like they've created magic. Okay, so let's get back to these gloves. I've just done a descent, so I'm starting to get a little chilly because the air temperature is really cold. So I'm about to turn them back on again. Look at the moss game on this bush. So what I was going to say was, I'm about to turn them back on again, but I also just wanted to make a note about the grip. So they have like a grippy palm, if you can see that, which makes it really easy to grip your handlebars, change gear, all of that shazam. I'm obviously taking a GoPro in and out of my top tube bag all the time, and I haven't yet slipped, so these are doing pretty well because some gloves have been known to slip on my GoPro. I was worried because they don't have like padded palms, I was going to really feel them on a bike ride, because one pair of my cycling gloves has padded palms, another one is just a pair of North Face outdoor gloves, so they're not padded either, and I normally cycle in those, to be fair, but this so far has been super comfortable, although that might also depend on what grip tape you've got on your handlebars. The descent I just did made me so cold, like my face was freezing, even my body was cold, and my hands, I wouldn't say they were warm or hot, but they definitely weren't cold, and that was a really windy, really cold descent. There's absolutely no way this camera will be able to pick them up, but there are about 6 long-tailed tits flying around the bushes here. I'll put a picture of them on the screen, like a stock image of one, because they are tiny and they are so cute. I haven't seen one for ages, like 2 years. Nice to see them. January? Is this the normal time for them? Check out this for a little lane. This is going to lead me to the bottom of Hound Tour, which I've taken you to before. Last time it was really misty, I think, or really cold, I can't remember, it's always really cold. I'm hoping to get a coffee there at Rhythm and Brews, the horse box, which is either never there when I'm there, or it's only there when it's really, really cold and I can't stop. But today I have heated gloves, so I can stop. The part of Hound Tour. It allegedly looks like a hound. Can you see the pattern? Anyway, it's going to look crap on this camera as always, but it's right there, like it's really close. And I've just got to kind of cycle up around the contour line up to the car park. Gloves are on the lower setting at the moment, which is really lovely. It's just like a tiny bit of gentle warmth. It makes such a huge difference. I just can't get over it. Because even when the air is really cold and I'm going really fast downhill, I'm not expending much energy at all, so I'm just cooling down really quickly. It becomes this like protective barrier, stopping your hands from getting, please Garmin, from getting really cold. We have here some belted Galloways. Is that right? Last time I came along this route and I saw presumably these exact cows, and some of you told me what they were, and I'm sure they were called belted Galloways. Look how stripy they are. I'm very muddy today. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. That whole tour I just cycled past wasn't Hound Tour, though it does look really similar, and it is next to it. Look it up and hello. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at you. Hi. It is January. I don't know what the date is, I'm not gonna lie. 17th, 18th, 19th. It's one of those. Oh, And there are little black lambs. Seems very early for black lambs gambling. Oh, you're so cute. They must be like a day old. It's a good opportunity though to point out actual hound tour. Bear in mind that I live quite close to here and I see this all the time, so I'm officially an idiot. That is hound tour. It's really close. Yes! Hound tour. I'm now really cold, having stopped moving, but you know what isn't cold? My hands. It's so weird. I've spent my whole life with, even if my body is warm, my hands can be completely numb, and it's so difficult because it takes them ages to warm up again, to get blood flow back into my hands again. And this is like the complete opposite. It's like my body cools down, but my hands just stay warm, which means that I can just carry on cycling because I can operate my gears and my brakes completely safely. I know that my body will warm up quite quick. So far these gloves have done fantastically well on quite an undulating, actually I'm not gonna lie, a really hilly ride. But the true test is coming up and I'm gonna push them probably to their brink, probably beyond the brink really, because I'm gonna do a massive exposed downhill. And because I've been gradually working my way downhill since the coffee, I'm now really cold, like my core is really cold. And Raynaud's happens, numb hands happen, you know, if my body temperature drops even a tiny bit. And because I'm now extremely cold, I don't even think any gloves, like I could have hot water bottles attached to my hand and it's not going to stop my hands from going numb, because that's just how the physiology works. Like if your core gets cold, your body cuts off blood supply to your hands so that the blood doesn't go to your hands, cool down and make your core even colder. So it's going to be really interesting. But if these gloves can just take the sting out of the cold in that descent, it will be amazing. Okay, I mean my hands are now definitely just fully numb. That's not a fault of the gloves though. The wind chill is pretty extreme coming down here, and because my body is so cold, my hands don't stand a chance. So for those of you who know this area, this descent is not the Haytor one. It's from Water, which is near Haytor, Water and Maniton. And it's around kind of like the back of Haytor, and then it comes down past Yana Woods. It's way better than the Haytor descent, which is really fun, but it's also usually quite heavily trafficked. This descent, I hardly ever see anyone on it. Maybe like one or two cars, some cyclists. Sometimes no one at all. It's so quiet, but also the corners are really long and sweeping and wide, and you can normally see really well what's coming, so you can go pretty quick. There aren't that many blind corners on it. Whew, I am cold. My fingers are numb, but this actually isn't as bad as they could be. My toes are now numb as well, which for me that's a real big indicator that I'm very, very cold, because it takes my toes a lot longer to go numb than it does my fingers. Fingers are numb, but I can still feel like that gentle warmth on them from the gloves, which is it's just so nice, because even when they're numb, like, that is a really comforting feeling. This is the top of the descent. I don't have the finger dexterity to film it, ironically enough, so I can't show it to you, but basically it's very long, very quick, very sweeping, very cool. It's very fun. Highly recommend it. I will cycle down there and then I'll be back to the start pretty much. I'm gonna chat to you about these gloves after this ride, so hang in there. That last descent, oh my good god, I got so cold. I feel like my forehead froze. It was so cold. I don't actually think my face has ever been that cold on a bike ride before. And the interesting thing about that descent is that while my fingers were numb, they weren't painful. And it's hard to describe to people who don't have Raynaud's and therefore may not have numb fingers that often. Like, you might have cold hands, but maybe they're not numb very often. When you have numb fingers, it can be almost excruciatingly painful at times, which is kind of weird because they're numb, so you'd feel like the feeling was numbed as well, but actually they can be extremely painful. While my forehead and my face was really painful because it was so cold, my hands actually weren't. They were just like bog standard everyday numb going down that descent. And I could feel that gentle layer of warmth over my hands the whole time, which was really, really nice. So in summary, these gloves are the slim heated gloves from Vulcan Sportswear. They feel pretty thin, and that means that you can wear another glove over the top, like a windproof or a more waterproof glove. These apparently do have waterproofing technology in them, so you can wear them in the rain, that's completely fine. But obviously if it's going to be heavy rain, you're probably going to want like a bulkier glove over the top. But they're really close fitting, so you can put a glove over the top and use these as heated glove liners. Oh, just the sentence, heated glove liners, sounds amazing. Or you can obviously just wear them as regular gloves like I did. I think I would definitely take a windproof glove in the future on really cold rides that have big descents in them, big long descents in them, I suppose. Now the battery is in here, which feels quite bulky when you're actually holding them, and it feels quite heavy when you're holding them. I did not notice it at all when I was actually riding, because obviously like you're resting on the handlebars, so the battery just doesn't get in the way at all. It's not in a place where it's impacted. However, it did struggle to get over my Garmin watch. But if you use the Velcro strap, then I guess that you could probably expand it a little bit to help get it over that. I didn't find it annoying, but it's just worth noting that you might have to do a bit of waggling if you have something bulky on your wrist like I do. The other thing I really liked about these was the fact it was so easy to turn the heat up and down while I was actually cycling. So if I was going uphill and I suddenly got a bit too hot, I literally can just click that. So you just hold it down for a couple of seconds if you want to turn it on, and then you can just cycle through those settings. If you want to turn it off, you just hold it down and it turns off. Boom. They come in 3 sizes, so small/extra small, medium/extra medium. No, I can't remember what the medium one is. And then large and extra large, I think. Double check on the website. I think they have size guides on there too, so you can map out your size. My hands are pretty small, I'm gonna say, and these at a push, I'd probably say they're slightly too big for me. But I didn't find it a problem at all. Now I was out for 2.5 hours and they still had full capacity to be full power by the time I got to the end of it. I turned them down a few notches at some point in the ride. I turned them off during another point in the ride when it got really hilly, and so I just didn't need heated hands. And then on the descent back down, I had them on full power. And as I said, they kind of just took the edge off that really cold wind that I was experiencing. For me, these are going to be an absolute game changer because my Raynaud is so bad. I get it. I'm actually starting to get it now. I can feel my hands getting really cold because I'm sat in the garage. But anything that's going to keep my hands warm or help them warm up after I've done something is going to be genuinely game changing. So often I'll go for a run and I might start off wearing gloves because it's really cold, and then I will put them in my run vest or something when I get too hot. Later on in the run, I might be doing a descent or I might have stopped for some reason and then I need to put my gloves back on again. At the end of a run, I cool down incredibly quickly, and so to be able to put my hands into some lovely heated gloves would be absolutely epic for the end of a run. So you can wear these for a lot of sports, and I can see why my sister is absolutely obsessed with hers. Let me know in the comments how you've dealt with cold hands while you're cycling and whether you would consider going for some heated gloves. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Do you know how often you have to double back on yourself feeling like a twat when you're a cyclist YouTuber? A lot. It's dedication. This is exciting. Oh god. Oh dear.